Good day everyone. So in this video we will discuss about the gender neutral language. So what what is gender neutral language and why is it important to consider the gender neutral language in our society in the present time? So this study is according to Shivali Nayak uh, and ABC Education posted on March 2019. So, but before we start the gender neutral language, what's wrong with the words like fireman, policeman, draftsman, or chairman? So, such gender specific terms fail to recognize the women who are in these very occupations. So gender neutral language, it refers to the words that do not identify a gender, whether it is a male or female. So according to Lucy Tatman, senior lecturer of gender studies in the University of Tasmania, the words have man in them because only men were allowed in this work or profession. So women literally were not allowed to be firefighters or to hold the top position of the company. This use of these gendered terms perpetuates to the system that men are in charge of everything and that they know everything, according to Sarah Niner from Monash University. These are jobs that only men can do because they are big and strong, and they have the authority and they're smart. With growing awareness, people are moving away from gendered terms and embracing gender neutral language. So we consider gender neutral language as of the present time. It is because there are many different genders that are existing in the present time. Now that women are able to hold the position using inclusive terms like firefighters, um, chair reflects the reality that person fighting the fire or chairing the board could be a man or a woman. That is according to Dr. Tatman. So what are the examples of gendered neutral language? So here I have the example. The gender neutral terms, for example, humankind. It is from gendered terms mankind. Police or policewoman, policeman. In neutral language, we have firefighters. But in the gendered terms, we have fireman, chairperson or chairman in gendered terms, flight attendants, or in gendered terms, they are called stewardess or steward. We have actor in the neutral term, and actor and actress in gendered terms. Common person in gender neutral terms and common man in gendered terms. So according to Dr. Tatman, it explains that it is important to increase the use of gender neutral language and terms. It is because with the use of gender neutral terms, whenever you are referring to something that includes both men and women, or could be done by neither a man or a woman, because it is the most accurate description of your reality. So in short, we are not discriminating the gender of the particular person. So according to Dr. Niner, people should get creative and use come up with their own gender-free terms to effect positive change. While Dr. Tatsman tip is to be accurate in language use. Like for example, police officer is more accurate than policeman when the officer is policewoman. So, when speaking of a child new teacher, for example, you might say, I wonder what they will be like. This is in keeping with the fact that the new teacher could be a man or a woman. So we have observed in the present time, like for example in the elementary, we are practicing the child to call their teacher as teacher, not sir or ma'am. It is because we are considering the gender neutral language. So the gender neutral language, according to Dinesh G. Gerds, like for these are the example of avoiding sexist language. Like for example, the phrase "a good policeman knows his duty" excludes. I wait. Example of avoiding sexist language. So, like for example, this phrase, a good policeman knows his duty. So, in this phrase, this excludes the women. Instead of saying policeman, you can easily say police officer so that the women are included in this phrase. So in replacing his or with her or his or her every time would be very vicious. A good solution would be to pluralize. So instead of saying a good police officer knows his or her duty, you say a good police officer knows their duty. So you will always include the pronoun of the phrase. So in quick fixes, we have when you use gender neutral language, you want to make your message accessible to everyone so that no one feels excluded, right? So in gender specific, we have dresser, salesman, or gunman. While in the gender neutral, we have to whom it may concern. This example is when you are writing a letter. By using saleswomen or businesswomen, you may subtly reinforce that it is unusual for women to have this profession. So, in specific terms that refers to a woman, we have this woman pilot, woman photographer. It is not common to say the man pilot or man photographer, which implies that pilots or photographers are usually male, which makes these terms biased. So, we have this gender neutral versus non-sexist. The article was titled Gender Neutral Language as opposed to Gender Fair Language or Non-Sexist Language because the author felt these were too emotionally loaded and implies that you are unfair or sexist unless you write the certain way, which some people is the point. So it is important to consider the gender neutral language and be accurate of your used words. Like for example, in calling the attention of that specific person in his or her profession or position in the company. So in conclusion, many terms are gender specific and exclude women. It is very easy to alter your language to make it gender neutral. So there are many ways to make your language as gender neutral. Just be careful to avoid grammatical or stylistic error. Like for example, you are using the policeman, but like for example, you are using the gender neutral language as police officer, but you are using the pronoun as his or her. That is grammatical error. We will use there, the word there, as a pronoun in the phrase. So that's all for our discussion in this video. I hope that you learned something, and always remember that when you are talking to someone, always think that you will consider their gender in using language, so that no one will be excluded in that particular conversation. So that's all. Thank you for watching.